Hi everybody, it's that time again. You know what time it is. It's Mondays with Mike, a weekly video series where I answer questions from people like you. Occasionally I get a question that I want to know why I got the question, not from you, but from the people who put it on my forum here, because this is a tough question. If life is unfair to everyone from time to time, doesn't that make life fair? That is very sneaky of you. That's not really, so that's not really your question? Because I was just going to go with that question. Were you guys just going to jump on that? All right, we'll answer both. You guys get 2 for 1 today on Mondays with Mike. If life is unfair to everyone from time to time, doesn't that make life fair? So I guess what you're saying is if it's unfair for all of us, then in some way that's fair. We'll answer that in just a minute. That's not really my question, but I heard that somewhere. Okay, good. Well, thanks for sharing. My question is, when is something that is really none of your business become your business? God. All right. So Johnny and Marty are going to jump in on this with me because I'm a scaredy cat. So guys, if life is unfair to everyone from time to time, does that make life fair?
I don't know. I think the degrees of fairness and unfairness are what I'd have to look at. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've never thought of it that way.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
same.
an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess in order for that to be true, the unfair things would have to be equal for everyone.
That'd be consistent.
Yeah, to be
severity of the unfairness
like, for
needs to
instance,
be-
everyone loses $1
Yeah.
instead of
Not like,
That's a very unfair thing, Marty. $1.
yeah. So yeah, and it also goes to the definition of fairness, right? So we teach in leadership, when I teach leadership, that fairness has to do with the extent to which the same standard is applied, not necessarily everybody getting the same thing, right? So it would, if we took what you guys are saying and applied it to that, I might be sticking with life is unfair, just period,
I
right?
agree with that.
Yeah. I don't know that, because I don't think we can say everybody gets treated the same, because we know that's not true. We really know that's not true. Anyway, that wasn't your question, so we're just going to leave you to spin in that question. And for those of you watching, feel free to weigh in if you'd like to send us an email. So my question is, which is equally difficult, which the guys are going to weigh in on with me. When is something that is really none of your business, when is something that is none of your business become your business?
when it affects you in a significant way.
Okay, so if it affects you in a significant
If
way.
it's you or someone you know or love, or it's going to harm somebody. I think
Okay.
I think you have an obligation to
All right,
that.
so it's none of my business, but if it's going to affect somebody I know or love, or it's going to harm somebody, then it becomes my business. I think I completely agree with you guys. I think that's exactly right. When something that is really none of my business becomes my business is when it's going to hurt somebody that I know or love, or it's going to affect me in a specific way. Even though it's none of my business, the decision you're making, because I don't have the business to make it, it still might affect me in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
So like some generic example, like if my homeowners association, well, I guess that would be my business because I pay homeowners dues. You know, there's some interesting research that was done years ago where they staged an injury or a heart attack, or they staged several injuries in a major city, like on the Strip in Vegas or New York or Chicago. And what they were doing was, and this happened before everybody had a cell phone and had an emergency button on their phone, but they staged this to see, sociologists did, to see how many people would engage in the thing that happened. And what they found was almost nobody would. If they saw somebody in distress, people wouldn't. And at first they thought that people didn't care that much. And then they realized that there is a predisposed tendency in the human condition to hesitate and evaluate before they act, which makes sense, right? Anthropologically, back in the day, right, a million years ago, we would sit back and see if that saber-toothed tiger is going to attack us before we decide what we're going to do. So I totally agree, right? If it's none of my business, but then I find out this is going to affect me in a negative way, then it becomes my business. Or if it affects somebody I know, love, or care about, or is going to hurt anybody, then it becomes my business. I agree with that. But yeah, I think that's exactly it. There's your question for the week. 3-part answer. You're welcome. If you have a question for us, you can send it to mikestaver.com/Mondays with Mike. We'll be happy to work it in. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.